Welcome to the Law & Order podcast, a show about why games matter and how they shape our lives. I'm James Padley, and as always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Amrit Aldridge. You're looking very sharp today, my friend.
Thanks, mate. It's raining outside and it's cold and dark, and so I thought, why don't I put on a summer t-shirt to remind me of the good time?
Not even a summer t-shirt. It's like almost a Hawaiian shirt.
It's so Hawaiian shirt.
It's very loud. I love it. It's got me thinking about the summertime.
That is where I'll be.
Great song. I feel very underdressed in comparison. I'm wearing a big, oversized Banjo-Kazooie sweatshirt jumper.
Well, much more on theme, I would say.
It is quite on theme.
So arguably better dressed.
For the episode, absolutely. But you look very sharp. So
well, I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it as well. You're bringing the good vibes.
Oh, that's what I try and do.
Yeah.
Not much other value I provide here apart from good vibes.
Oh, I don't know about that. You provide plenty of value, my friend. But I as you said, the jumper's kind of on theme. We're going to kind of be diving into some cool nostalgic elements today.
Yeah, can't wait. I wanted to start this with a memory. Right. And so it's not a distant memory. It's from, I think, November 2024.
Set the scene for us.
So sitting upstairs at home, my brother Etten on the couch.
What are you wearing? The people want to know him. Sorry, continue. You're right.
I reckon would have been wearing like trackies, a hoodie, just, like classic sitting on the couch about to play a game.
Hot.
We've got the PS2. We've taken it out of an old wardrobe. We've dusted it off. We had to find an attachment to connect it to the TV because the TV we were using didn't have the red, white, yellow spots anymore. So we had to get an adapter. So it was a whole process. We've put in Lord of the Rings, The Third Age. We've put the disc in. Now, we don't know if it's going to work, but it does work. The PS2 hums and whirs, those lovely mechanical noises it makes. The anticipation is beginning to build. Then the THX certified game goes across New Line Cinema. Then the title screen, Lord of the Rings, The Third Age, the lighting of the beacons, Howard Shore theme hits. And even before we've loaded the game, just the sounds that the menu makes, just so excited. We hit new game, we start. We get the cutscene. It looks okay on the big TV. It wasn't made for such a big TV, but it still works. And there's this intense feeling of excitement, joy, this beautiful, warm, fuzzy feeling. We're about to get stuck into a game that we've talked about replaying for so long, that we've played so many hours together as kids. Yeah, amazing feeling. And not even the playing the game was great, but just that feeling.
That feeling of booting it up. And I get exactly what you mean. I get the exact same feeling when I hear the soundtracks of my favorite childhood video games. I don't even have to play them.
Yeah.
Just hearing them. So shout out to my Blue Shell Beats playlist.
Oh, great
which
playlist.
Is a playlist I made on Spotify. You can probably look it up. It's public. It's got a picture of Squirtle, one of the Squirtle Squad Squirtles with his sunnies on, and he's chilling in the water from the original Pokemon anime. But it's all video game music with lo-fi beats.
Yeah.
And even that brings back this calming, reminiscent of earlier times, that vibe just kind of creeps in. What is that vibe? It's nostalgia, baby.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, it's a drug is what it is. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Nostalgia in gaming. Why games make us feel like this, and why does it sometimes feel so good to go backwards?
Yeah, so good. So not necessarily talking about today about, what games do to us or can do for us, but, rather what they remind us of.
A celebration almost.
Yeah.
I guess we dive in. What is nostalgia?
Yeah, so I have to actually credit our friend Jono for this idea. He thought of the idea of nostalgia therapy. So Jono, I appreciate you giving us the inspiration for this episode.
And Jono is a doctor.
Yeah,
so we should preface by saying we aren't psychiatrists or doctors.
We are not Jono.
We aren't experts.
Yep.
When it comes to the medical, psychological, but I guess we can compare our personal definitions. I mean, what is nostalgia to you, Amrit?
For me, it's sort of it's this experience of your you're longing for something from the past and you kind of remember it and you feel it and you're doing something that you maybe done before. You're thinking about something you've done before, and it just gives you this sort of lovely, almost like warm feeling as you think about, oh, this was the time and it was such a good time and this is who I was then and I loved who I was then, or I loved what I was doing then. So yeah, it's this beautiful kind of like, it's this memory of the past that is making you feel really good in the present. That's what it is for me, broadly speaking.
I feel you. I agree. There's something very comforting about it, that kind of brings you a sense of peace. But for me, it's also quite bittersweet. Like there's that sense of comfort, but there's also a sense of sadness or longing. And like obviously the happiness and the comfort far outweighs. But I guess the sadness or that bittersweet element is knowing that you can't go back to that time when you felt that emotion for the first time.
Yep.
You can get very close, but you can't quite hit it.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's that beautiful positivity in that kind of it's comfort, or you're thinking about, your identity or what you're like or what you enjoy doing. But yeah, it is bittersweet in the sense that maybe there's a little bit of a sense of loss of thinking, well, I can't fully recreate who I was or what I was doing back then.
Yeah. And I feel like all of those things are often like, if you look at the official definition, that emotional experience of longing for the past and remembering moments that you loved or that were meaningful, as you were kind of talking about, they often are evoked by or triggered by sensory cues. So music, smells, places. One that people often talk about is the smell of wet concrete after like a light rain.
Oh,
is like super nostalgic. And for me, that really gets me. It doesn't bring back a specific memory, but it brings back that vibe of like being a little kid riding a bike or like running around the street.
Playing on the street.
Yeah, little things like that. And I think it's especially powerful in gaming.
Yes.
Because it's not just about remembering a specific game, it's remembering how you felt playing that game.
Yeah.
Which, as we've discussed in previous episodes, is really important. And also who we were in those moments when we played it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice and so cool and so positive. But what's actually a really fun fact is that nostalgia wasn't always viewed as, it's this good thing that can create positive emotions. It was basically a disease.
Right.
Yeah. So it was coined in 1688 by this Swiss physician Johannes Hofer, and he used nostalgia to describe a medical condition that was affecting Swiss mercenaries fighting far from home. So they were essentially homesick. Which, I don't know. Have you ever been to Switzerland, James?
I actually haven't done Switzerland. It is, by all accounts, an incredibly beautiful place, though.
Yeah. I've been there once. Lucky to be there once, and just gorgeous mountains. And I spent so much time hiking there. So yeah, if I was a Swiss mercenary fighting away, I'd be like, I just want to come back to these peaceful mountains and hang out with the beautiful cows. So yeah, can understand why. But he initially sort of came up with it as this condition with negative side effects. It was causing lethargy or symptoms of depression or disturbed sleep. And so it came from two ancient Greek words, nostos, which means to return home, and algos, which means pain or ache. So
now I can sound super hip and educated. I can say I'm a nostos algos.
Hello, how are you today? Well, I'm feeling very nostos algos.
So nostos algos.
I've been playing an old game. I'm nostos algos. James, are you okay? No, nostos algos.
Did you not hear me say it?
Nostos algos. So yeah, and that literally meant the pain of wanting to return home. So yeah, it was originally kind of a serious illness. But yeah, in the 19th century, it began to be seen as more a psychological state. And then until kind of like the 1970s, that was when it began to sort of soften. And the meaning now of nostalgia is sort of fully shifted to it's a common emotional experience rather than anything like a disorder. And today there's a lot of research out there that basically underlines that it's this, fundamentally positive emotion.
Not a disease after all.
Definitely not a disease. So if you're sitting there tucking into a bowl of member berries thinking about the good times, nothing wrong with you. It's actually probably a good thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because those origins suggest why there is still some negative associations with nostalgia out there. Like nostalgia, as you said, is largely positive, but you'll get people saying things like, "Oh, are you playing that again? Like, why are you playing that game again? Try something new, move on."
Yes.
And my parents would always hit me with that when I was watching Scrubs. Scrubs is my comfort show. I could not tell you the amount of times I've rewatched Scrubs. But they would be like, why are you playing it? And it was because it brought that sense of nostalgia and that sense of comfort. Yeah, so I do think that those origins, you can see that tie to the negativity.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this more. So we're not going to be unpacking all the babushka this time.
No,
but what we're going
to
to be doing is essentially we're going to be unpacking a box full of little paper cranes that start really big but get smaller and smaller as we get deeper and deeper into this sort of world of nostalgia.
Oh.
How was that one? I think the babushka one was better.
Babushka was very unique. I mean, this was unique too. It evoked a very strong image. It made me. It kind of tied to nostalgia. Making little paper cranes,
a little bit origami.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I vibe with it.
I'll keep working. I'll think about next episode.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
You got time. You got plenty. So yeah, I guess if we take all of that and we tie it back to gaming, why do we keep going back to these games?
Yeah.
And like for you, Amrit, like you play a lot of old games.
Yes.
Potentially, I would argue more than you do new ones.
Yeah. I am a chronicle replayer of games.
Why is that?
Yeah.
What is it about those games that keeps bringing you back?
Yeah, I think for me, it's when I sort of play these games that I played before, it puts me into this mindset. Here's something I really, really enjoyed. So I'm already thinking about this past period of time where I enjoyed this experience. And so I know I'm going to go back and have a positive experience. But it also then puts me in this headspace where I start thinking, oh, there's so much more that I could explore. There's also, if I spend a lot of time in a game, it's like, I'm not going to remember every single thing. So I'm going to come across things that then spark this memory. And I think, oh, yeah, that's in here. I remember that. That was so cool. Or I find something new, or I take a different pathway that I haven't done before. And I get this like wonderful feeling of like this, it's still this thing from the past that I love, but there's this element that it's something new. And I may be different to who I was when I played it the first time, but I'm still enjoying it on like for either the same reasons or for different reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, just love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I'm almost the opposite of that. Like I find that I'm really hesitant to revisit old games and I prefer to focus on playing new ones and having those newer experiences.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is I think I'm a little bit fearful that it will tarnish the original memory.
Ah, interesting.
Like I'm wearing a Banjo-Kazooie jumper.
Yeah.
I played banjo numerous times as a kid.
Yeah.
And I have such fond memories of doing that. I fear that if I went back to replay it now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure I would still love it. And I'm sure that I would still be able to maintain that old memory and appreciate it for what it was and appreciate replaying it for completely different reasons, like you said. But yeah, there's a part of it that's like that original memory is perfect.
Yeah.
And I know that it's there. And when I hear the music, it evokes those memories of playing it. And I have that image of me playing it as a kid rather than me playing it as an adult. And so, yeah, I don't know. There are some games that I have gone back and replayed, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I tend to kind of focus on newer games. And we'll talk a little bit about newer games later and how you can still get a sense of nostalgia from them. But when that nostalgic feeling hits, like there really is nothing quite like it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you're always talking about those two sides of the coin, right? You got that beautiful side of it, the positive side, but also that bittersweet element. And I guess you're almost afraid to lean too much into the bittersweet, I suppose, and you're trying to find that right balance. But I would say, and I would encourage you to, maybe lean in more towards nostalgia. So, nostalgia, there are a lot of benefits to it. And, there's a lot of like commonly held beliefs now about how nostalgia can be so good. And some of the, we're not going to, fully break it down, but some of the key kind of research benefits include just general boost to your mood, nostalgic thinking. It's been found just to boost your positive thinking, especially due to feeling more socially connected and having a more meaningful life. Because a lot of these feelings of nostalgia will involve other people, doing things with other people or the the people who were around you at the time, and also who you were at the time, which, might reinforce your identity.
Which perfectly kind of ties into what you were talking about before with your story about playing Lord of the Rings with Ed.
Yeah, literally. It's like we're remembering this time where we were younger as brothers, hanging out together, so good. But intersection with the present is we're still feeling like we're still hanging out. So we still have that. So we're like, hey, like we were doing this thing and we're now doing the exact same thing, which is just so, so nice. And then in terms of, I guess, who we were, like we were, we were social, we're having fun. We like playing interesting games. We love Lord of the Rings. And it's kind of still who we are now, which I guess, again, it makes us feel really good.
Yeah.
Makes me really feel good. Hope it makes Etten feel good.
I think so. If he keeps coming back, I'd say so.
He does.
But yeah, I think when you're talking about that as well, obviously spending time with your brother or with friends, whoever you share these experiences with, it obviously reduces that feeling of loneliness and isolation as well. So nostalgia can be really good in terms of making you feel a sense of togetherness.
Yep.
And it affirms those ties that you have with friends and families, and you feel, it sounds so wishy-washy to say this, but like you feel safe and you feel loved and you feel connected.
Yeah, it's true. It's good wishy-washy.
Yeah. Which is why I think replaying an old game can often make you feel like you're reconnecting with old friends.
Yeah.
Like for me, some of the games that I have often replayed is going back to like Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, or Back to Nature or whatever. Hearing that music, absolutely, but also seeing those townsfolk and their stories, and it's like going back and meeting old friends again.
Yeah, which it's so nice, and that's such a nice kind of genuine feeling as well. It's like that feels really true and who I am, and I think I love that because sometimes I don't know. I just had a lot of I did a lot of work on this in my early 20s, but I often felt like I was living a couple of different lives. There was who I really was, and then who other people saw. Like the facade, or pretending I was feeling a certain way, or this is the cool Amrith who goes to parties, but real me, just wants to sit there and replay Spyro for the 50th time. And I guess going back into that sort of feeling of your past self, or feeling nostalgic about your past self, it helps you see it as like an authentic part of you and your journey. And I guess you're spending more time with the real you, which is a really valuable thing in that sense of, reinforcing your identity or knowing who you are and what your values are.
Almost reconnecting with younger you in some scenarios too.
Yeah.
Because, I think in a way, some of these games that we feel really nostalgic for, they're almost like a time capsule. Like it's a safe place for you to return back to.
Such a good point.
And I think ultimately nostalgia doesn't trap us or keep us stuck in a place where we're just living in the past. It connects us to ourselves.
Yeah.
And it reminds us of the things that used to make us feel good and that they still do make us feel good. I think it's a really beautiful way to connect with that past self.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in terms of revisiting old games for you then, obviously there's all sorts of things that hit. I talked about the music.
Yep.
You talked about like just opening up that menu.
Listen, look, the sound of like scrolling between, it's like a ching, ching. Like even that, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Triggers all those tingly memories.
Yeah, just like, wow. Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
love
and it recreates that context as well of who you were, where you were, what games were like then, what your life was like then. Yeah. Simpler times.
Yeah, well, give me your top like quick fire list of, remembering those good times. What are the games that, if you just think about them now, just thinking, what are the games that make you feel nostalgic? Or if you were to play them, what would it be for you? It's like quick fire list.
Yeah, the games that make me feel the most nostalgic are like the Donkey Kong Country trilogy on Super Nintendo, Super Mario World, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Diddy Kong Racing, pretty much every Mario Kart, even the newer ones still make me feel super nostalgic.
Love it.
Because they really tie back to when you would just play Mario Kart 64. I was also a huge fan of Double Dash on the GameCube.
Yep.
Pokemon Red on the Game Boy, huge. Similar with Gold and Silver. Oh, some big ends. Mario Galaxy, in terms of modern Mario platformers, that is the GOAT to me of 3D platformers. Some of the old Zeldas, Wind Waker in particular. Yeah, there's so many games that get me. But
awesome.
Those early Super Nintendo 64 ones with those banging soundtracks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what about yourself?
Oh, yeah, I guess similar, but more less Nintendo for me, but more PlayStation games like Spyro.
Yeah.
Obviously, just the soundtrack. Even in my head, just thinking about the soundtrack, I can. It just makes me feel like that. Games like the Lord of the Rings games, like the Third Age, or playing the Two Towers or Return of the King. With friends, doing the co-op mode in Return of the King. Even like Harry Potter, the Chamber of Secrets, really makes me feel like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cracking game. It was like where you just walk around Hogwarts and just do different things. And Hagrid still looked like a bit of potato.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
But
I
potato Hagrid really gets me in the feels.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Yeah.
played the first Harry Potter game, but it was on like Game Boy.
Oh, that's even more potato.
Dude, it was awesome though. It was all like pixel sprites.
Yeah.
So much fun. It was on like Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting like going back and playing these games, especially for yourself because you replay games a lot.
I do. Yeah.
Are you just replaying the game or is there something more to it?
Ooh, that's a great question. There's definitely an element, I think, of like I loved your point before about how you're saying it's almost this place of safety.
Yeah.
Right? It's like this nice time capsule, this place of safety. And, without sounding too glib, it's a very uncertain world that we live in. And I think sometimes when you don't need to go out. And for me, like I don't need to go out and try something new. Why don't I go and explore something that is it's nice and safe, but there's so much more that I can do there. And so like part of that is like I'm almost enjoying and replaying a past version of myself, which I think is I don't know if that makes sense, but it's
No, I get that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
yeah, it's like replaying the Third Age with my brother. It's like, yeah, this is a time when I think things are pretty good.
Yeah.
and like things are pretty good now, but it was cool. Like I was a kid, and trying all these different things in this game, and like set within the Lord of the Rings world, and also had so much time. Like lots of time. You could sit there and learn all the skills, and you could backtrack in the game. It's like I got time for this.
Yeah. Talking about like replaying younger you, it's the image that that it kind of evoked in me is like you playing a video game.
Yeah.
And you got to a point where when you were younger, you couldn't get past that point. And now you like blitz past it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like younger you is sitting next to you, like flipping their shit, being like, oh my God.
What the hell, old Padley? How'd you do that, old Padley? Why are you so old?
We did it. I'd be like, more, why are you so good? Not why are you so old, you brat.
Don't you talk to me.
Stop fighting yourself. Why you keep hitting yourself? But I think that's a really beautiful image, like of not of me fighting my younger self, but of them being like wide-eyed and being like, wow, like we beat that.
We beat old Padley.
Suck it, old man. No, I think that's a really, really beautiful idea because you're replaying a game and you're discovering new depths that you may not have found as a kid.
Yeah, and I think for me that brings so much enjoyment. You're discovering that greater depth that you're talking about that maybe you wouldn't have appreciated as much as a kid because you just want to maybe finish the game or beat it or work through it. You appreciate details more. Maybe like how it's made or how beautiful it looks. You can do things differently. You can follow different parts. And like I, in general, and you're gonna have to kick me off this high horse at some stage because I'm gonna get on a rant here. But I think like that is such an underrated thing, not just in games, but in general. And I think we live in a society now that pushes us so much to always do the new thing, buy the new thing, build the new skill, move on to the new experience. Like, don't waste your time. Like, you've done this before, go do something different.
Yeah, consume. And I get that. Like, I feel like I was talking about in the previous episode with Pacopia, how I'm starting to get that itch to play something else.
Yep.
Because maybe part of it is a pressure of being like, I've got all these other games. It's time to move on. But it's like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I genuinely am ready to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's that itch of being like, consume, more is coming out.
Yes, more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always advocate in games and in general to people. I'm like, just like slow down.
Mm.
Like you're never going to do everything. So just why don't you spend more time? Why don't you go deep instead of going broad? And this is something with my travel that's like this focus I have in my travel where like I've been to New Zealand heaps of times now, and people will always ask me, and they'll say the same thing. They'll say like, "Oh, like why are you going back to New Zealand? Surely you've done all of New Zealand by now." And I'm like, I always kind of rail against that comment because I'm like, there is so much of that country that I haven't explored. And when I go back to New Zealand, I'm in this beautiful, like nostalgic headspace where I'm thinking about the past trips that I've done there. So it's safe in that sense, but I'm already in this wonderful, positive mindset where I'm thinking about the past. But then I'm kind of thinking in the present. I'm like, oh, I can do new things. I can explore more. I can repeat things in different contexts. Like, for example, I've redone hikes that I've done before, but the first time I did it, it was the whole place was like flooded due to rain, and it was just, I could barely see anything. And, most people would say, oh no, I've done that walk. Don't do it again. But I've gone back and done it. And it's been a completely different experience. It's been absolutely magnificent. And yeah, I mean, going to new places, like that's also good. I'm not saying that's bad. Like, if you've been to, if I've gone to New Zealand 8 times and you've been to 8 different countries, it's that's great, right? But
there's value in both things.
There's definitely value in both things, but going back is also good, is what I want to stress. It's like it's nothing is better than the other, but it's often frowned upon you going back and revisiting old things. So yeah, just like with games as well, it's that thing. It's like, well, yeah, people be like, oh, it's great. And if you said, oh, I've replayed the same game 15 times this year, as opposed to I've played these awesome 10 new games, people would look on the ladder much more favorably.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel, yeah.
Anyway, that's that done.
Getting off the horse.
Feel good now.
Yeah. No, I think that's all incredibly, incredibly valid. And I mean, we literally go on walks around the same neighborhood all the time. Like, why not go to a similar country if it brings you peace and happiness and enjoyment? Yeah. Hell yeah. Onto the games, though. We've kind of visited how old games bring back that sense of nostalgia.
Yes.
But I think modern games can make us feel nostalgic as well. And we spoke about Pacopia last episode.
Yep.
And I also feel this way about Breath of the Wild and DK Bonanza, which again we've talked about. But Breath of the Wild, in the very first episode that we released, the Wanderlust episode, that was the first game that I had played in years and years and years that brought back that just like, wow.
Yeah.
This is so huge, so expansive. I can do anything like that. That sense of wanderlust that we've talked about in the past, that was just a wave. And I realize now as well, yes, it was the wanderlust, but it was also a huge wave of nostalgia.
Yeah.
But it was a game that I'd literally never played before. But there are familiarities.
Yeah.
DK Bonanza, there's throwbacks, there's little subtle nods and references to the previous games, whether it's like the art style or the gameplay tactics or whatever. There are ways that these modern games can throw you back.
Yeah, it's so interesting actually. I just thought about how I've I've just started playing Expedition 33.
Yeah.
And I've gotten into it very early.
Yes.
Like sometimes with games, it takes me a while or it just doesn't click, but I've only played few hours.
Yeah.
And loving it. And yeah, I guess one of that, talking about Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, that was a turn-based combat system game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an old school turn-based combat system. And yeah, I've loved that element of Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, this is sick. I love it. It's like, I've got this, oh my God, I've got this, it's such a cool connection. I've got this nostalgic thinking about this turn-based system.
Yeah.
And I'm in this place, I'm like, this is cool. I like this. I've liked this in the past me like this. But it's newer, it's more dynamic. It's bringing things like parries and dodges. And it's like, it's just so, I find the combat amazingly
fun. They're putting a new spin on an old mechanic that you have a sense of nostalgia for.
That's so well said.
Completely feel the same way. It's the same like turn-based combat. I love like all the old Pokemon games, Chrono Trigger, Golden Sun, on the Game Boy Advance, like all those old school JRPG style mechanics. I thought Expedition 33, blew me away for the same reasons that you said.
As a very quick aside, I've just noticed, like my face feels warm. I feel like I'm smiling more. I just feel awesome
because you've just made that connection.
Yeah, just thinking these nostalgic thoughts. I think that's just like a cool connection to what we're saying about it making you feel more positive. I'm like, wow, I feel great at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel really good.
It's really cool, man. And like with these modern games as well, there's so many ways that they bring that nostalgia back. Musical callbacks to earlier games. Mario is an expert at this. Zelda.
So good.
All of those old games that have such definitive sound effects, like opening a chest in the Zelda games, all that sort of stuff. You know, remasters obviously bring back nostalgia. You talk heaps about Spyro.
Yeah.
That was a big one for you.
Yeah, so the Spyro Reignited trilogy was, I think, where it was such a big one, I think arguably it was the origin point of my brother and I. We're doing a regular game night, which is so cool. So we got Spyro Reignite at Christmas. We played it together. Awesome. And that obviously sparked these thoughts in our head that, you know, this is really fun. So then we went and did that with the Third Age. And when we finished playing the Third Age, my brother thought, he's like, hey, I want to play a new game, but I want to play something slightly more modern. And so we're now playing Ghost of Tsushima together. And so we're trying to catch up once a week and play together. We're making it work weekly, even though, you know, Anton's got two young kids. You know, works full time, runs a startup. We're arguably seeing each other more. You know, we're still catching up on the weekends. We're seeing each other twice a week now. And so arguably Spyro and that nostalgic gaming is like the origin point for us hanging out more.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've obviously sung the praises of nostalgia.
Yep.
Can it be a bad thing? Because at the end of the day, nostalgia is incredibly powerful.
Yes.
Which also means it's incredibly profitable.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I think at times, you know, the gaming industry is smart.
Oh, yeah.
Very smart. Very smart. And there's so many people and so many designers behind it. And that means that, you know, nostalgia is something that can be sold.
Yeah.
Essentially. You know, they know it makes us feel good, as we've talked about. And so, you can capitalize on it.
Yeah. And you see it in everything.
Yes.
And like people are aware of nostalgia. It's mentioned all the time.
Yeah.
You pulled out the member berries earlier in this episode, you know?
I remember.
Remember?
Remember when PlayStation games were so good and so cheap?
Oh, I remember.
But
yeah, you see it with like South Park, Marvel Studios. They cash in on nostalgia all the time.
So good at it.
The fact that they're bringing back Chris Evans as Captain America.
Yeah.
All this sort of stuff.
Literally got, remember Captain America?
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
you like Captain America, right?
Your wallet members. They just go back for it. It's classic. You see it in every business.
Every business. Like even like weird example with shoe brands.
Yeah.
Often like with running shoes, sometimes what they'll do is they'll bring out a new model which they probably know is not going to sell as well because people are like, oh, there's these differences, or we don't like it, we prefer the old model. And then they bring out, you know, version 15. It's like the classic runner feel that you know and love, and everyone flies out to get it. So yeah, it's literally they're playing nostalgia, just to capitalize. Which is, I mean, respect it. It's clever, but it's, you know, it's not as nice a thing when it's been sold to us like that.
Yeah, I feel you. And I think when it comes to remasters and nostalgia as well, there's obviously good and bad.
Yes.
The bad is obviously there's less time that game developers and all these big studios are spending on new releases.
Yep.
Which is then kind of trapping us in the past because they're giving us that member Spyro, you know, remember all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, I do. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was so good, so good.
But we're not moving on.
Yeah.
And it also means longer wait times for new games, especially if it's a studio that is also releasing new games.
Yeah, look at Bethesda. They're going to be remastering Skyrim until I'm dead, and I'll probably never get Elder Scrolls 6. And I'll keep buying the remasters.
As long as we get Elder Trolls, that's all that matters.
Elder Trolls.
But yeah, I just think that the other bad side is obviously it's less creativity for people in the industry. You're just reworking old stuff.
Yeah.
But then, you know, there's a flip side.
Definitely a flip side. Like we talked about, remasters, you know, Spyro, great. Like what a great way to revisit the old world that they've reimagined it so beautifully, but also with a fresh coat of paint, you know, using a new engine, or it looks better, or they've upgraded the sound. So like that music you remember is even more high quality.
Yeah. And I do think one major benefit of a remaster is that it allows new generations to discover these games for the first times.
Yeah.
Like
so
we're
true.
very lucky, like we're in our 30s.
Yep.
And we've seen so many huge jumps in console generations to a point where they're now remastering these games, which for us, can be really cool. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, how amazing to go back and replay Spyro.
Yeah.
But for other people, like younger kids, they wouldn't have owned a PS1 or PS2. Their first console might be a PS5 or a PS4. And so these games are huge and new to them, and it brings them into that world, and it brings them into that franchise, which I think is a really beautiful thing. So there's pros and cons.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it allows you to explore in further depth, as you kind of talked about, going back and revisiting. But it can also be a way for new staff to transition into the next big project, because this has happened with The Witcher, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It has, where, they've expanded their development team, CD Projekt Red, and, working on these, these remasters, like bringing the next gen update edition to the, to The Witcher 3. It essentially allows you to kind of train new staff, working with the new engine that they're going to use for their new game. It helps you like transition you across to the new project. So yeah, so within industries like these remasters, maybe they're not always just about like, hey, how can we like, cash in on nostalgia and, just, not put in a lot of work and just pump out the same old game and make some money. It's like, well, no, it's like it's a genuine creative project that, can, really help the development team move forward and build for the next one and make that next game even better.
Yeah.
Even if it means a much longer wait.
Yeah. I like it. And so there's pros and cons to nostalgia, but I think overall, I personally view it in a positive light.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And there's one more really cool thing that I did want to talk about in terms of nostalgia. It's something that I came across while I was sort of doing some research for this episode. And I as soon as I saw the term, I immediately connected it with the game. So let me try and break this down a bit. Now, for all our Welsh friends who listen in, hopefully we've got a big Welsh contingent listening to Law and Order. we can only hope. But I apologise in advance for potentially butchering this Welsh word. But there was this Welsh term that I came across, or less a term, but more like a semi-untranslatable concept, which is called hiraeth in Welsh. So I'm really trying to roll my R there. Hiraeth, which is spelled Hiraeth. So please, get on Instagram and let me know how badly I pronounce that. If you're Welsh and you're listening in, but as best as possible, what hiraeth is translated to, it means this deep, bittersweet longing. It's this type of nostalgia. It's or a yearning for a place or a time that's lost, unreachable, or never even existed.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a kind of longing for a person or a place or a time that you can't get back to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an unattainable longing.
Yeah.
So it's not like, ooh, this felt really good. I can just get back in and do that and feel that exact same way again. It's like it's feeling good about it, but also knowing that it's like
gone.
It's like an unattainable place. Or like maybe you're thinking about it that it just never even existed.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
Yes, it's just like, such a cool term. And when I came across this, I immediately thought of Skyrim and how I often try and explain to people, like, why do I keep going back to a game like Skyrim? Like, I often try and explain it in different words or different terms. But when I came across that, I thought that is it. That is it. Because often I'll make a joke. I'll say, like, oh, like the feeling of wanting to go back and play Skyrim. I get this feeling, I get all excited about that feeling. Oh, how good is it going to be to play Skyrim again? That's often better than actually when I'm back playing.
Yeah.
Like that feeling is always, then I get back playing, I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun, but then I'll put it down. So it's so interesting because I think, like, Skyrim as a place, right? It's attainable because it's a game that I can go play, but it's not actually a real place.
Yeah.
So it's not actually attainable. It's a place that I yearn to go back to. Like I yearn to go back to Skyrim and walk around in that beautiful world, but it never existed.
Yeah.
It's not actually somewhere I can go to. So yeah, I've got this connection to it, but at the same time, it's bittersweet. I can't actually ever be in this beautiful, unattainable fantasy world. And then at the same time, it's capturing that exact same sense of wonder, as it was the first open world RPG I played. But, as we discussed in episode 1, it's like I can't ever fully recapture
the magic of
that feeling. But I just thought it was such a cool thing. Hiraeth.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I was wondering if if you had a Hierite game, James, do you reckon?
It's really hard because, like I said, I don't revisit many games, but I think like if I did, it would be Pokemon, Harvest Moon, the Mario Karts, all of those games kind of scratch that itch. If there was a world, it would probably be Mineral Town from Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
That something about that town felt real to me as a kid.
Yeah.
And it felt like I was escaping to that world. Not that my real life was bad in any way. I loved my childhood, but there was something magical about this quaint little town. So, I think Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, and Friends of Mineral Town on the Game Boy Advance, they really, really, that world was small and quaint and cozy and magical. But I think some of those bigger franchises like Pokemon, Mario Karts, they really scratch that itch too. And like I said, the thing that brings me back every single time is the soundtrack. The music is the biggest nostalgic hit for me. Almost like it was yesterday, and all those positive emotions just come right back.
Yeah. And it's so good because I think it's often underappreciated just how cool music is. And like we hear music all the time now in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's so often underappreciated. And especially in a game, it forms such an important part of it. And like, the fact that you're really paying attention to it invokes that nostalgic feeling. I think that's great.
Yeah. And I think so much of our friendship as well is based around nostalgia too when you think about it. And this probably applies to a lot of people too, this kind of shared nostalgia in gaming. Like there's almost this bedrock. I think you mentioned this at the very beginning of the episode. Because when we became friends, we talked about all these games that we grew up playing, or what are you playing now? There was this sense of shared nostalgia around games that helped us form that friendship.
Yes.
And we both have similar experiences. We both loved similar games. We'd also both played very different games, but there was a lot of overlap there, I thought.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when we first met, that was like the common ground that we formed. We sort of talked about, things we played, things we are playing, what we have played. And, it's interesting when you sort of theorize about it. It's like, if we're both thinking about these games that we've played, and then we realize that we've both share those experiences, we're probably feeling pretty good, and that makes us maybe more likely to open up and be friendly with each other. And then that's translated to us playing games. And now when we catch up, it's that wonderful intersection between past and present. When we catch up, we've got this like bedrock of like nice nostalgia from all the time we spent together, and intersecting with the present that we're enjoying the time we're spending together.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And so much of it is us playing games together as well.
Yeah, so much game time.
Which, huge.
Yeah. And like we won't kind of belabor this point, we obviously spoke about that for a whole episode, the couch cops and playing with people, but like playing with friends and having that nostalgic feeling is just so good because you get that nostalgia, but then you're sharing it with people who've had the same feeling. And that's just so powerful. Like you're reminiscing together. You've got this shared almost cultural memory of the games that you've played, what it was like then, what it is now. And so it's so good when it's shared because that memory and that feeling is validated.
Yeah.
It's not just you sitting on your own sort of being like, oh, this was just my feeling, or like maybe I should be doing something different. You're sitting there together with someone and you're both remembering how good this is and how good this feels. And so that just gets validated by the other people around you.
One big question I have for you then is, would these games hit the same without each other? Because I can't imagine playing The Witcher 3 ever again without you.
Wow, that is, that's very generous of you to say.
I just don't think it would carry the same weight or enjoyment playing it by myself.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. It's interesting because since we finished replaying The Witcher 3 together, right?
We've done that. We've played it twice together.
Twice now, but like the second time we did it, and I replay a lot of old games. I haven't felt an urge to go replay it by myself, for example. So I'd arguably say like, maybe it wouldn't feel the exact same. Yeah. Great question.
It's really even The Witcher 4 when it comes out. Like we keep talking about if this podcast became successful. Like Amrit and I, we have a night called Witcher and Whiskey.
best night of the week.
Which is that we'll drink whiskeys while playing The Witcher. And now we've played other games, but we still call it Witcher and Whiskey.
Yeah, we're playing Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But it's just, poor old Cyberpunk, it's called Witcher and Whiskey.
It's the name is not going to change. Cyberpunk and Whiskey does not sound as good. But when Witcher 4 comes out, we joked, if the podcast ever became successful, how funny would it be for us to like live stream us playing while getting absolutely smashed on really nice whiskeys.
Yeah.
But yeah, a part of me is also like, when that game comes out, I'm obviously going to be desperate to play it. Will I play it by myself at all, or will I only allow myself to play it with you because we played Witcher 2 together, we played Witcher 3 together?
Yep.
Like, I don't know if I could play it by myself.
I think we've just answered that question. I think you've answered it for me. I think we're playing Witcher 4 together.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right. So it's going to be very interesting with kids and finding the time to do that.
Yeah, it might be a much slower playthrough, but we'll make it work. I think
we'll have an absolute ripper with it.
But that kind of shared nostalgia is so good. And as a final way to kind of wrap that section, to go back to Jono, who gave us the idea for the episode. Playing Halo together. That's what sort of sparked that idea. I think. Just that shared nostalgia, sitting there playing Halo. You got 4 people in the same room. We're all sharing this nostalgia.
I think nostalgia hits harder when it's shared.
I think so.
Yeah, when you can bond with other people about it,
Yeah.
which is awesome, because then it's not just about going backwards. It's about carrying something forward, because you're still creating new memories with these people.
Yep.
You're taking that meaning from your past into your present.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's awesome. I think games can take us back and remind us of who we were and help us understand who we've become. And yeah, they give us an excuse, not that we need it, to go back and go deep and not feel like we always have to try something new.
Yeah. And what a wonderful, I've been talking about this intersection of the past and the present, and you've just put the future onto that crossroads as well, which I think is so, so nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Love it.
So yeah, I guess if there's a game calling you back, maybe that's the side quest for the listeners this week.
Yeah.
If after listening to this episode, you've had a specific game being like, oh, yeah, that's the game for me. If you got that warm, fuzzy feeling, that's your side quest. Revisit that old game, or maybe a newer game, but one that you've played before, and play it again. Yeah,
just go deep. Don't just go broad. Yeah, find something new about something old, that you visited before.
I love it. And we always love to hear from you guys as well. So hit us up on Instagram at Law and Order Podcast. That's LORE, but you'd already know that because you've found us on all the other platforming things, other platforms. You know what I'm talking about.
You're just in game mindset.
Platforming, yes. You've jumped from here and then you've jumped to there.
I love platformers.
Yes, I do. But yeah, hit us up on Instagram, Law and Order. Let us know what you love replaying, what you've been replaying. We always love hearing and interacting with you guys. But yeah, as always, thank you so much. Amrit, thank you to you as well.
Oh, James, it was a pleasure feeling Nostos Algos with you today.
Oh, so Nostos Algos. Beautiful. Until then, we will see you all again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.